link is letting me go through. Yes, it is. All right, ladies, we are live. Audience, we are sorry that we had a little technical difficulty. We were actually waiting for one of our colleagues to jump on who just had a long flight. But we are here and we're ready to get this segment started. We want to talk about the difference between bookkeepers, accountants, CFOs, and CPAs. What's the difference? Everyone gets this so confused. Some people are like, oh, I need a CPA. Others are like, well, maybe I just need an accountant. And so many people don't even know what a CFO service, excuse me, a CFO is. So today we're going to make sure you find out about all of these and let you know, okay, which one is right for you. So we already know we got a hostess with the mostest, as I be saying. Yes, I'm old school. Sharon, please take it away. You know that's not me. So go ahead and introduce and let's get this rocking and rolling.
Hello, hello, everybody. Hello. Happy Memorial Day. And to any of the parents out there who had graduates like me, congratulations to your graduates. And listen, it's time to get this popping. So tonight, we have all of our bookkeeper, accountant, CFOs, CPAs, bosses, and some tax bosses. So we're going to go around and introduce ourselves very quickly so you know who you're watching. Let's take it away, ladies. First up, we got is Alicia on the line? Is Alicia here?
Yes, I'm here.
All
Yes.
right, Alicia, go ahead and introduce yourself really quick to the people.
All right. Hello, everyone. I am Alicia Davis. I am the CEO and founder of Davis Financial, and we're located in Burnwood, South Carolina. But we do have clients all throughout the 50 states.
All right. Then we have Miss Chastity. Chastity, are you on?
There she is.
Yes, I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Yes, we
ma'am.
can. We hear you well.
Awesome. So I just came in. So what was I supposed to introduce myself?
Yeah, just a quick introduction of who you are.
Awesome. Yes, I'm Chastity Grady, owner of Grady Tax Plus, where our mission is to make sure we're keeping the IRS out of our clients' pockets with making sure their business finances are organized, as well as addressing any tax issues should they arise.
Awesome. Is Kiona on?
No, Kiana didn't
No?
come on yet.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Miss Nicole.
Hey, hey, hey. I am Nicole Grogan Austin. I am a road agent with the IRS. I am also known as the corporate tax strategist as well as the corporate tax coach. I help small business owners to ensure that they are keeping every penny in their pocket by using every legal loophole there is by doing tax planning. I also educate and teach other tax professionals how to incorporate corporate taxes into their service, therefore increasing their bottom line.
Also, and then we have who's left? I can't see.
That would be me, LaFisha.
Got LaFisha.
Good evening, everybody. My name is LaFisha Cannon. I am located in Delaware. I get the pleasure of helping entrepreneurs and small business owners manage their money and master their taxes so they can grow the business of their dreams and live the life they desire. I also help tax pros and accounting professionals with the system strategies and support they need to grow a sustainable firm. So, good evening, everybody.
All right. Last but not least, Michelle.
You ain't introduced yourself either, but I am Michelle Wilson. I'm an enrolled agent and I am a CFO, aka accountant, anything above except for CPA. But I also, just like the ladies, we all do bookkeeping, we all do accounting, we all do taxes. So what does that mean? We are a triple threat and then we know about our businesses. So we are all here to want to help either entrepreneurs or if you call yourself a freelancer, business owner, whatever you call yourself, we're here to help you. But I also train tax pros how to become bookkeepers the right way, how to make sure that in making sure that they're keeping money in their pocket and their clients' pockets all at the same times. And last but not least is Sharon.
Well, I'm Dr. Sharon Mason Love. I am also a tax professional. For me, I listen. Let's just kind of unpeel this because I feel like we're being real stickety. Let's loosen up, ladies. Where them fans at? No, no.
We all
So
tired.
what my specialty is, I consider myself a one-on-one tax coach. What I like to do in the tax industry is I really enjoy coaching tax professionals one-on-one because in a group setting, a lot of times people take classes and courses and they get so lost and then you're on a Zoom call. You ever be on a Zoom call and you're not really like paying attention, but you're there. So my specialty is I like to grab those tax professionals who are struggling with taxes, and I really like to hone in and give them one-on-one. So that is my specialty. And I'm also a tax pro, been doing this 22 years. All right, guys, so let's jump into this, okay? Because we're not going to be before you long today, like they say at church, but we're going to get this in. All right, so we have this amazing panel of women. So I'm going to ask a question, all right? And you guys can answer, or I can pick on you to answer. You tell me what you want me to do. Want me to pick a person?
Yeah, you might as well.
I'll pick. All right. So my question is, first of all, we're talking about bookkeeping, accountant, CFO, and CPA. What is the difference of a CFO versus a bookkeeper versus an accountant versus a CPA? So this is a big one, but just try to say it in your own words as fast as possible. So who we're going to pick on? Who's going to do that first? Nicole look like she ready. Nicole, go ahead. Burst out of the scenes.
All right, guys. So,
and wait, before we get going, ladies, make sure you're sharing this live out to your platforms so that
Copy
your
and
people
paste,
also
ladies. Get that
Everybody-
book, copy and paste.
Yeah, everybody go ahead and share it out.
Okay, so honestly, all of this go hands in hands. Okay, so your bookkeeper, you guys, this is someone that's responsible for the day-to-day activity. They're responsible for recording the day-to-day transactions. They're responsible for ensuring that everything is categorized. A lot of us are using QuickBooks, so of course I have to use the word categorize. Back when I was coming up and I was working on my associate, bachelor, and master's degree in accounting, everything was paper. We didn't have no systems. We didn't learn how to do anything system-wise. We did everything paper. So a bookkeeper is pretty much responsible for the day-to-day activities, recording and categorizing those day-to-day activities. An accountant is pretty much someone that interprets the information that's inputted. So all the day-to-day activities, the accountant themselves will actually take that information and analyze that information and then go back and be able to communicate that information with the particular organization, whether it be the CEO, CFO, or what have you, but they're able to take that information and present it to, I would say, the CFO. From there, the CEO or the CFO can actually analyze that information and determine what type of financial decisions the business needs to make when it comes to actually raising capital, when it comes to spending money on expenses and things of that nature. Now, a CPA can actually do all of what I just spoke about. However, when it comes to a CPA is someone that assure numbers. Please understand what I'm saying. Assure numbers, which means they can actually go in and say, we can testify or we attest that these numbers that are actually being listed are true fact indeed of the company. And the CPA can also perform what we call audits. These audits are also another way to assure the numbers. They can also do it through reviews, and they can also do it through what we call compilations. So a CPA assure, accountants and bookkeepers, and CFOs, they pretty much record information, analyze the information, and present the information to the CEO or the CFO of the company.
Okay, good. So I have a question. So I own a business. At what point do you think I should hire a bookkeeper versus hiring an accountant? So who wants to answer that question?
I answer.
Mind answer.
Bookkeeper. Who's okay? So a bookkeeper, you should have bookkeeping as soon as you open your business. A lot of people do this backwards. They wait a few months, some of them a year, 2, 3 years until they get letters from the IRS, and then they decide like, oh, I need bookkeeping. It is cheaper for you and easier for us if you get bookkeeping from the start. Now, if you get a bookkeeper who has morals, they're not going to charge you an arm and a leg just to get you set up and for you to have a few transactions. But what you want to make sure you do is you got to sit and you got to do your due diligence to make sure you get the right person so that you can do that. Now, when it comes to an accountant, so there are different levels of bookkeeping before I say that, because there are some bookkeepers who are actually better than accountants. Back in
Mhm.
my day, they were called full charge bookkeepers. I know
Old
y'all
charge
remember that.
bookkeeper.
Right. So there are some bookkeepers that are full charge bookkeepers, and then there are some bookkeepers that are just starting out. And if you're just starting out and you're under 3 years, you are definitely still a bookkeeper. To be an accountant, you have to understand the financial statements. You have to understand how they link. You have to understand the chart of accounts and how they link. Like everything is a puzzle. And if you mess up one thing, it truthfully can mess up their entire financial statements that you have. And you need to know about the different financial statements as well, and how to manipulate them, and how to make sure you send those reports to your clients so that they can use them the way they want to. So, bookkeeping, that should start from day one. Um, I'm gonna say, when should you get an accountant?
Yes.
That's a
When
big
should a
question.
business get an
It's really
accountant?
hard. It's I
Do you
mean,
think it's preference?
I'm going to be quite honest. It depends on the accountant. And this is the one thing I try to tell people, just like some people be like, I need a CPA. What do you mean you need a CPA? Do you know what a CPA really does? So it's not the title, which people are not understanding, it's the education and the real life aspects that you've used along with the education to see what difference you can make for someone. So I don't care how many degrees you have, and I have them. You can have all the degrees and not know how to do bookkeeping correctly. You can sit there. Some people, they don't know how to do bookkeeping, but they actually know how to be an accountant and do CFO services. So it just all depends. And then you have some of us, like I think most of us on here, where we may know how to do it all. So it just all depends on the person, not the title.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
So when
I honestly think that you can actually have and I mean sometimes we find ourselves playing those roles. If we are doing books for a client, we may call it bookkeeping, but then at the end of doing that cycle of full charge bookkeeping or whatever it may entails, we find ourselves sitting down with our clients and explaining, or we're interpreting their financial statements to them. And
Mhm.
from that, we also start to make certain type of adjustments. So what has transpired, honestly speaking, in today's world, bookkeeping is blurring the line of accounting because of the way that we do it as humans. We're
Mm-hmm.
just not just going to, if we're not working in a company where we are considered just a bookkeeper, where we're just doing these day-to-day activities and then passing it off to the next level. If we're those individuals, we have our own businesses, and someone is coming into us for bookkeeping, it goes from actually being bookkeeping to accounting, because then we start to interpret those financial statements. We
Mm-hmm.
start to make recommendations. Hey, I see this. You say you want to be at this place in the next year. Okay, based on your financial statements and based on your day-to-day activities, this is why I see you need to cut, or this is why I think you need to expand. Maybe we need to, dig out some hidden revenue or something like that to make sure that your company is being profitable. So
Mm-hmm.
honestly, right in the world that we are in today, we are really going from that basic concept. I'm not going to say basic, but we're going from that concept of bookkeeping to the accounting pieces. Because I don't know anyone, and you guys correct me wrong if I'm wrong, that's sitting on here that actually just do bookkeeping, pass it off, and just leave it as that.
Right.
No,
No.
I
We're
think
talking with our
that,
clients. We're
Yeah.
looking at different things. We're looking at different aspects of their financials and say, hey, this what we think, or this what we feel that would be, that you can change, or that you can do, that's going to help take your business to the next level. So you guys correct me if I'm wrong on that.
No,
I totally agree, and I think sometimes it's hard because we blur the lines, and in this industry, we'll find ourselves shortchanged because we do find ourselves
Mm-hmm.
stepping into veins that aren't necessarily what we're being compensated for. Now,
Mm-hmm.
to the original question, I think there are some spaces where you move quickly from a bookkeeper to an accountant, depending on the industry that you're in. Because if you're in an industry where your cash flow is moving quick, activity is happening, and revenue is
Mm-hmm.
moving fast, the need for you to have somebody to be able to analyze those documents or analyze their financial statement or financial information becomes super important. I know for my husband and I, we started a transportation company, and we quickly went from a $60,000 a year to a $500,000 a year in less than a year. We grew $1 million business in like 3 years. So, where you would think it takes people time to graduate, certain industries are, they're going to produce that type of money. So I can't sit back and wait a year or two when I think, according to some time schedule, that
Mm-hmm.
it's okay.
So my
At this
question was,
point, we spending money every day. We got labor going out every day. We spend gas every day. So
okay, that's good.
I don't think there's a specific time frame
So my question, if
where
it's
you
not a specific
switch, is what I'm
time
saying.
frame, is there a certain amount of money that you would say to your clients, hey, I think you need to transfer over to this type of service because of your revenue that's flowing?
When you
I
start
would say
making
maybe
more than a
activity more
nine to
so than
five,
money.
well,
yeah.
let me answer. I was some key factors that I would say that
Okay.
sets people apart is the money aspect, because I can have clients who are on my basic bookkeeping plan, which means that there's no strategy attached, but they want the strategy. Well, you can want the strategy all you want. However, there's an investment level. So sometimes people are ready to get more than just bookkeeping and move into accounting services. But if they can't pay, then it's like puts us in a bind, because you want us to provide high level information to you, but for a basic price, and that's doing ourselves a disservice. So I feel like at any point, whether it's the first month, because some people know out the gate when they start their business, next month, I want to make $10,000 a month, even though this is my first month in business, and they want all of these strategies to help them. But if they're not willing to invest in it, then what am I supposed to do about that? And so, I mean, we do find ourselves sometimes still stepping in and overcompensating for the lack of compensation. But again, that's a disservice to us. And sometimes business owners need to understand the difference between you are in the basic bookkeeping package. If you want XYZ, or you want to meet monthly, or if you want to talk about these different strategies to help you, or, KPIs or whatever, then you need to move up to this package, because this is what we do in this package. Over here, we're only doing this.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I agree with what everybody else said, but I guess I'll just add to it also really depends on the entrepreneur too. I mean, I only say that because we can offer accounting service, CFO services, and so we can strategize. However, okay, it's actually going to be up to that entrepreneur, that CEO, to decide. Okay, I'm actually going to do whatever it is they tell us to do. So if they're not really serious about growing, then it's really not going to really make a whole lot of sense, to actually go up to an accountant, because they're not really going to do what it takes to grow. So they're going to have to be serious about their business too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
And that,
ladies, let me ask y'all a quick question, just by a show of hands. How many of you guys actually do bookkeeping services on a regular basis? Okay. So my next question is, and playing devil's advocate here, how do you feel about tax pros preparing tax returns without truly understanding bookkeeping?
I don't like it at all.
I
I mean,
I I, I think this
let's talk
here.
about it. Let's talk about it. How do you
Um,
feel?
I think this is the thing here. When it comes to a Schedule C client, whether that's a one-member LLC or is a sole proprietor or what have, I think what tends to happen is that we don't enforce the bookkeeping aspect, because one of the things that we don't necessarily pay attention to, and a lot of people don't pay attention to, is, which is one of the most important financial statement, is that balance sheet.
Mhm.
So when it comes to a Schedule C type of client, we don't have to offer or we don't have to produce a balance sheet. So technically, it's like, are we really going to give this client bookkeeping services, or are we really going to give them any type of accounting services? Because at the end of the day, the only thing they want to do is produce a profit and loss statement to be able to complete the Schedule C.
Mhm.
Now, if you have a client that is in my arena, and I say my arena because I'm in that corporate arena, which is the S Corp, C Corp, partnership, and nonprofit. In that respect, I have to look at clients totally different because I have to look at their balance sheet. I need to see those numbers on the balance sheet and things of that nature. When it comes to those Schedule C type of clients, because that balance sheet is not stressed in that type of environment, I don't think a lot of us, when it comes to tax professionals, and I include myself in that, starting out and growing up in the business, we don't stress the importance of having bookkeeping.
We don't.
Well,
Then when we start to get our clients that are outside of just that Schedule C, that's when we start to stress the importance of bookkeeping. However, regardless if they're a one-member LLC or solopreneur, they should be getting bookkeeping, because although they reporting profit and loss statement, they still need to know their net worth in their business, and they don't know that if they're not producing the balance sheet.
now I do
Right.
total opposite. I actually, and I don't care what you are, whether you're a Schedule C or an S corp or a partnership. I don't dabble much in corporations, but the rest I do. All of my clients, they meet with me every single month. We sit and, excuse me, I have two categories. There's some that meet quarterly, and then there's some that meet monthly. I go over both the balance sheet and the profit and loss so they can see and understand the difference between the two. Because what they don't understand is, like, if you constantly keep having negatives, then you look at your balance sheet, it paints a horrible picture. And there are some Schedule C clients that are making a lot of money. And I have a few that actually make real good money. And when they come to you, they have no idea. And then what they have, if you look at some of the financial statements, you have the wrong things listed on there. And then the truth is, they can't read them. I teach my clients to be able to read their financial statements, because you got to eventually go apply for a loan or try to get a grant or try to do something. And if you can't explain nothing on your financial statement, what kind of business owner are you? I'm sorry to say that, because business owners are just jumping in this business arena just to be making money. But it's good to make money. I'm in it to make money, but you got to do more than make money. Learn your business and learn your craft. Like, you don't have to know how to do bookkeeping to read your financial statement. You just
True,
got to put the little time to figure out
but
how it's supposed to go.
but
I
the
think
question was the taxpayer,
so.
not
What
My
about?
necessarily the client.
Well,
The
I'm
tax.
gonna be.
How do
You
y'all feel
already
about
know
the
how I feel.
taxpayers?
I do not like it at all. If I can only
That's what I
tell
wanted to
you
say.
the, like, even right now. So I'm with company again, my association BNI. There are people going to get houses, and they have tax preparers preparing these tax returns, and people are coming out with just negative. The one person that was spoken about, she told me that they made a whole lot of money and everything was zero. I said, excuse me. She's like, it was only income on here and nothing else was on but income. I'm like, well, that's going to be a problem also. Then, some of them don't even understand, and I go through all the time the even loans. Like, you don't put a whole loan on a DAG on Schedule C. You only write off the interest. People don't understand what you're supposed to write off. They throw mills on. They don't look at it that it's supposed to be, some is 50%, some is not. It's like, learn a little bit so that you're doing someone's Schedule C correctly.
So this goes back to the tax preparer. Like they should definitely learn at least the basics
Yes.
I
of
think even if
bookkeeping
they don't
so
learn
that
the,
they're able to assist their clients when it's time to do their taxes.
Right, because
I'm
right
like,
now they are messing them up, and they're messing them up big time, and they don't even know it.
I think even if they don't understand bookkeeping in its totality, I think it's super important that they at least know how to read a financial statement.
Correct.
Because there are some things like If you're giving me a financial statement and I got negative expense accounts, I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking at that sideways. Or if you're giving, I had one client that he did his own bookkeeping, and when he came to me to do his own bookkeeping, he gave me 3 years. And so year one, he ended up owing $15,000. Year two, I think he owed 12. Year three, he owed 2,500. So in my mind, something should be wrong in your mind if I'm doing this year after year after year, but I'm not making any money. My revenue is actually declining. What he did was he borrowed money against like Square or Stripe or something, but he was recording these borrowed funds as income. And so anybody else that hadn't looked at it,
Mhm.
over the course of the 3 years would say, wouldn't pay it any mind. They would assume that whatever he presented on that profit and loss was correct. But in my mind, like, okay, now I'm having a conversation with him is different. So this is why I say, if I didn't know better and looking at the years, then somebody might just take whatever's handed to them at face value. So if like I said, even if you don't understand the mechanics of it, at a bare minimum in this tax space, you got to be able to read them and have some indication of what might not be right, or if it doesn't look right, or if there's some things you need to question or challenge.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
And
we
I
got
think
to
also
see
you
I'm
need to
sorry,
dig
y'all.
you need to dig and ask. You got to ask questions of your clients. You really got to ask questions of them when they come to you. You have to really you have to get them the third degree. What do you plan on doing? What's your next steps? What is your next goal with this business? What is your
But
outcome?
Nicole, what if you have that client that just don't want to do bookkeeper or just don't have good books? Do you not service that client as a tax professional?
You
I
still
don't.
service that client, but you ask questions. That's what I'm saying. You need to ask questions. That's the thing. If you're asking, here's the one thing I always stand out with my clients that I ask them. So tell me about your tax situation. What are
Right.
you hoping to get out of this? What is your next step? When you ask questions like that, the floodgates is gonna come open. They're gonna
It
start to
does.
talk. They're going to start to talk, and you're gonna pick up on things. You're gonna be like, okay, so if you're trying to buy a house next year, you can't write off all these expenses this year because they're looking at 2 and 3
Right.
years.
You can't have
So
a
at
negative.
that point, you can start to kind of better guide them when you're asking necessary questions, especially if they're not coming to you with financial statements. And even when they're coming to you with the financial statements already, and this is just me, if a client's coming to me with already financial statements, you know what I ask for? And this is just me. Give me your general ledger. Because I need to know that these numbers that's on this financial statement is true indeed. And the way that I can know that is through your general ledger, because your general ledger is going to capture every transaction that's come through your business. You can give me a profit and loss. You can give me a balance sheet all day long. But give me the numbers behind what I'm seeing on this profit and loss statement or what I'm seeing on this balance sheet. So we have to ask necessary questions. We definitely have to ask questions of our clients, because a lot of times they don't even know what they want to do.
They don't.
Right.
They have no clue. They're clueless. They're clueless. So we got a few comments, and I don't want to ignore our comments. Christina says, "What services should tax preparers offer beyond just filing tax returns?" So one person want to.
Yeah. So I'll answer that question, but I do want to amplify what Nicole was saying, because a lot of times this is why everybody can't just do taxes, because
But before you go on, Chastity,
yeah.
that is true. However, the way that our government is set up, that's what happens.
Right. And so going with looking at the general ledger, because yes, if someone gives you a profit and loss statement at face value, you want to know what makes up the numbers, but that's not in the tax preparation fee though. So it's like it kind of leaves us again, doing things overcompensating for the lack of compensation unless you build that into your pricing. So it's kind of like it's a hard place to be in, I would say, because you want to make sure that you're preparing the tax return to the best of your ability, because at the end of the day, your name is being signed on it. We can say all the time, well, it's the tax, the taxpayer responsibility, but at the end of the day, it's still ours too. It's both of ours, and I don't sometimes feel comfortable accepting profit and loss statements where it don't look right. So I have gone in and said, hey, let me just get access to your bookkeeping software so I can take a look
Mhm.
and upsell them into cleanups, because I'm seeing credit card payments recorded as expenses, like Michelle said, with the loans recorded as expenses, or owners' investments and recorded as income. And that's just it. I mean, we want to make sure we're accurately preparing a return, and I can't sign my name that I've done so if I don't.
Yeah. And then
But
didn't
yeah.
they make a law now? I mean, I don't know how, relevant it is that we're gonna be held liable now for doing taxes and not looking at the bookkeeping anyway. I heard
I
something
don't
like
think
that
it's.
was
I
supposed to
don't think.
start.
I don't think it's made a law yet. I
Hmm.
think that's something that they're considering. I mean, they're considering a lot of different things when it comes to the tax industry, because at this
Right.
point, right now, the IRS is not. They want to truly be able to regulate
Regulate.
it.
They want to regulate. They need
So,
to.
and truly they need to, because
Yeah.
It's
and a lot of us have talked about this, off camera and things of that nature. But they want to truly be able to regulate it. So
They
it's
should.
gonna be a lot of things that's gonna come down the pipeline. Is it gonna come down right now? No, because we got this
no.
big beautiful bill that's
Big
going on right
beautiful.
now, which is the main focus, the big beautiful bill.
I mean,
Mhm.
how
To
does
get
he come up with
American
this stuff?
to get America back, being American and what, however they said, make America great again or whatever they
Beautiful
say.
again. Beautiful.
So, so I do eventually, I do. I don't think it's a law now, but I do think it's going to be something that's going to come into play eventually.
I wish it
But
was.
again, that's going to be part of regulating the industry.
It
And
is. Until
yeah.
it's regulated, nothing's going to ever matter because
No, we're
anybody,
gonna
as
get
we know,
messy books. Messy
anybody
books.
can do taxes. I can pull my grandson to do a tax return at this point. There's no regulation in this business. So that's what makes it hard. But okay, so let's move on, ladies. Let's talk a little bit more about, and I know that y'all skin is going to crawl.
We got a couple
Proper
more questions. You're
month
going to go.
end.
I'm sorry.
Proper
Proper what?
closing out. Proper month end. Do you believe a business should do a proper month end every month, and why?
I do. I truly believe they should, because here's
Why?
the thing.
Why?
And
Why should we close it out? We still got business. We still working. What am I closing it for?
okay, because I'm
Because
about to
you're
tell
not
you,
supposed to make
because
changes.
you have two type of accounts that's going on
Come
when you
on,
are
talk
looking
to
at
them.
these books. You have permanent accounts and you have temporary accounts. Every temporary account needs to be closed at the end of the month. Every
Explain
temporary
what that
account.
is to people who don't know
I
what
was
you're
gonna
talking
say,
about.
you
What
know
is
they
a
don't know
temporary?
what
Okay.
that is.
So
Give them
a
some
temporary
examples.
account is your profit and loss statement. If you look at what your revenue is on December 31st, 2024, and you go back and you look at what it is on January 1st of 2025, it's going to be a different number. Is considered a temporary account. So, of course, every month your books should be closed out to show what you truly earned and what you
Mhm.
truly spent. And
What I
here's
do?
the biggest
What I
thing.
do?
I'm going to say this, right? I'm going to say this.
Everybody do like this.
Yeah, clock that.
Oh wait,
I
is
clock
this
it.
one? I'm old.
Because I'm going to say this, y'all. And I'm going to say this right here. I know we talked about the difference between the bookkeeping and accounting. I want everybody
Preach.
to understand this. Bookkeeping principles are based on accounting principles, GAAP, general accepted accounting principles. Bookkeeping follows the same principles. We have revenue recognition principle, and then we have matching principle. I'm not gonna go into teaching bookkeeping, but I'm just saying.
Come on, let the passion
Way.
flow, girl.
She on her way.
Yeah, but
I'm
Yeah,
just
she
saying.
didn't
So
close
yes, a book should be closed out every
every
single
month.
month to show your true numbers.
and keep
Not
going
If
so
waiting
you
till
that
are
the end of the year.
yes,
if
so
you
that
are on
you
a
can
accrual basis
change
or
them.
a cash basis, especially if you're on a accrual basis, you should be closing those books out every single month.
They don't know anything about accrual basis. You already know that. Everybody's Schedule C and S corps are all cash basis. You say accrual basis, they say, "What's that?"
What
Don't
is
get
Right,
it
that?
confused
What is
with
an
right.
people like
accrual?
I
that.
know. I
How
already
do
know.
I accrue? What is
I'm
that
not,
word?
No,
and I'm not gonna harp on that.
mm-mm.
Yes,
But
truly, if you are going to do the bookkeeping, understand bookkeeping is based off the principle of GAAP, general accepted accounting principles. You have temporary accounts. those temporary accounts should be closed out every month. If you're going to operate your business like these corporations are out here operating this business.
Exactly.
Have you ever called up a friend or talked to someone that's in the accounting department of a company and they tell you, I can't talk to you right now because we're in the middle of closing?
Month end.
That's a monthly thing.
Say it again. And when is it done? When should
It's
it
a
be done?
monthly thing.
What date should it be done by?
Now you determine your date, but it's a monthly thing.
But before the subsequent month closes, absolutely.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm a Scorpio. Listen, they have the first week and it should be closed by the 15th. That's what my team does. They have to, after they finish reconciling and I take a look, it's time to close those books. Why? Because clients also have a tendency to go take their butt in also. So I close the books. They are locked and it is under my password unless you say you're ready to leave me. And then I will take the password off. But that's another reason why you lock the books, because you don't want to go back in and make a mistake and move something or shift something. You don't want any of that stuff to happen. But you close the book. It is a monthly cycle that you go through. I learned that in school. Then I added my little touch to it. Like I tell people, we categorize twice a week. You keep going twice a week. If you keep doing that, you won't have memory loss, nor will your clients. Then when it gets to the end of the month, you make sure you get those statements by the 3rd through the 5th. You start your reconciliation. You pull your financials. Mine go out automatically because I don't even want that issue of trying to say, oh, we forgot to do. And then we close those books. You look at your reports. If you don't look at your reports, do not say, oh, I didn't do something right. I gave you reports, told you look at them. Then when we meet online, I'm like, look at your numbers. And I break income up because if we have different streams of income, I want you to see this is what you made in this and this and this. One of these need to go. You're not making no money in that one. So it's so much, but this is all like you got to follow that cycle of bookkeeping.
Right.
You can't be doing so I heard somebody say, oh, I go do it once a month. And then you wonder why your client mad at you. I think, what did she say? Something about the books are not up to date. So the client is mad at me and I do them once a month. I said, well, then that's why your client is mad at you. They was like, they wanted up to date financials.
So that comment leads to my next question. What is the credential that a person needs to become a bookkeeper?
Now, it's
oh, y'all looking like
no. I'm gonna be honest with
please,
you. It is I mean, you can come out, you can get into a program and become a certified bookkeeper. It is a framework that they put out. The first thing they're going to probably teach you is going to teach you the difference between bookkeeping and accounting. The next thing they're going to teach you is the 6 different type of the 6 different
chart of accounts
processes. I'm going to say the 6 different processes in bookkeeping. The biggest one being the analyzing of the business transaction, and therefore, I'm not teaching bookkeeping, so I'm gonna shut up at this point because I feel like I'm teaching y'all my bookkeeping right now, my framework of how I teach it. But the thing is, technically, you don't have to have a certain type of credential because nowadays you can't go to school for a bookkeeping degree, but you can go and get a bookkeeping certification.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays, I'm going to be honest with you, certification is speaking louder than degrees.
They are.
Because they want to make sure that you're certified
in
being able to do what what you're being put into the position to do or what have you. Is knowledge. If you having that knowledge of that full charge bookkeeping
knowledge,
like we just talked about, from the beginning to the end, from the beginning of the initial business transaction that take place all the way to the wrap up of that business transaction. If you know the knowledge and any type of adjustments that needs to be made after that, you can get a certification for bookkeeping.
Yeah, for me, I would say, to be honest, bookkeeping, the industry is similar to the tax professional industry.
You don't need
Oh,
nothing.
Yeah,
It's the
there you
same.
go.
It's
You
the
don't
same.
need nothing.
It's all about who has the most experience or who understand the concepts behind what's going on the best,
There you
right?
go.
So it's not necessarily you need a credential. You don't need to be. You don't
Mm-hmm.
need. I mean, you can't. I mean, we can't say you're a certified tax professional, but you say it anyway. That's. I mean,
Right,
you're a
Rocky.
certified.
Yes.
You saying you're a certified bookkeeper. That
behave,
means it's
Chastity.
no.
Yes.
Behave, girl.
So it's really all about the brains, the wisdom that you have in order to do the work. And that's what's going to take you far. The credentials, all of that, just like being an enrolled agent, CPA, all of that, that means nothing if you don't know how to actually do the work.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, Chastity, that statement leads me to my next question.
Wait, before you go to your next question, we
Yes,
have a question.
answer some of the questions that's in the
Yeah.
chat. I see a lot of them coming
I
through.
see him.
Yeah.
I got him right here.
Okay.
Okay, so my next question is, and it's kind of following up with what people are saying is, what do you wish business owners understand before hiring somebody to do bookkeeping, tax prep, CFO services? So I'm the client. What do you want me to understand before I hire? Because some people don't have the same person doing their bookkeeping and doing their taxes and doing their CFO services, right?
No, they
So
don't.
what do you think the client should understand before hiring someone? Because this is important. Because
I
people
think it
don't
goes.
understand.
I think it goes back to something Nicole said earlier, and the first is understanding the different services and what that role of responsibility, or that what that individual is responsible for in different roles. Like she said it earlier, a bookkeeper to me, and not to dummy it down, but bookkeeping is administrative, accounting is analytical, CFO is advisory. So if depending on what it is you need from people will help you determine, what it is exactly you need somebody to do for you. And some of the people just joining out when Nicole's mentioned earlier, if all you're at, and I think it was Chastity said the same, if you're only at a place where you're just looking for somebody to sort through and organize your financials, then that's what you need. But that doesn't mean that person understands tax code or tax law in order to prepare your taxes. Or that's the person you need to be having a conversation with when you're trying to, make business moves or decisions, because they're not necessarily versed in, analyzing the data, giving you feedback in order for you to make decisions in your business. So I think it's important that they understand what each particular role is supposed to do before you go writing a check and signing a contract.
Awesome. All right, so I don't want to miss what people are saying. So Christina Martin has a question. If somebody just answer real quick, we've got quite a few, and I want to try to get through all of them. Okay, who is responsible for the month-end close in your business? You, a bookkeeper, or an accountant?
Your accountant, to be quite honest, unless you only have a bookkeeper. But a lot of bookkeepers don't know about closing the month.
So the person doesn't have an accountant, then their bookkeeper should be doing it for them.
Somebody should be closing it. It's definitely not the business owner. The business owner done hired someone for this purpose. She might not even know, or he might not even know that of a such thing called closing the books. I went on the post, and in Chastity, you popped on too. And people was like, no, they don't have to close the books. And I did say must you, because I was taught that you must. So it's I don't know.
All right. So next question. What systems or software do you use to help with month-end closing?
That's whatever system you have. Every accounting
QuickBooks.
system, every accounting system should have a month end close.
So,
But
ladies,
one.
maybe I should throw out some different
Can I add two parts?
systems out there.
Let me
So you
piggyback
got-
off of what Michelle is saying,
Yeah.
because I think you got two different things here. The software is going to be whatever you're using to
Right.
manage the financials, but the
Right.
system, we're talking about a step-by-step process, a checklist, or whatever the case is that you're going to follow on a monthly basis to ensure you've reconciled, you've accounted for all transactions, you've cleared the necessary accounts, whatever the case is. So when we say system, we're actually
That's the
thinking
process.
more, not software, but more process.
Yeah, the process. Right.
SOPs.
Yeah.
Right. The system is how you do it, and the software is what you use to do it.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
Like
Well,
only thing you do
even
on
a lot of the
software is click a
softwares,
button.
yeah, that's what I was about to say.
I was
A
gonna say,
lot
you
of the
just click a
softwares,
button in the
all you
software.
do is just go into your settings and say close the month, and it'll close it. It'll
but
close it for you.
but it won't be right.
Yeah,
We just
yeah. And technically, you have to ensure that
Oh my
everything has
God.
been recorded. All the transaction, any type of journal entries or entries have to be recorded. But yes, you can click a
Okay.
button in your software and say close the month.
close.
So Christina again is asking, how do you stay updated on changes, tax laws, and regulations? Christina, this is a start right here. Showing up on different webinars, seminars, go to the IRS forums, just try to get with somebody. And here's the thing about, and this is just me. This is how I feel about tax law and changes. You can go to a million seminars, webinars, and still don't know what the hell going on. At that, no, it's true, right? Because I'm sitting in the room like, what the hell are they talking about? At that point, if you don't understand, that's when you need to get you a mentor or a coach.
I was gonna
Somebody
say
who can
that.
hold your hand through this, because this, as I think all of us on here have somebody that we can go to hold our hand. Because I pick up the phone and call, ask
I'm
questions about.
sorry. I called Nicole and I was like,
I will
Nicole,
too.
I don't know how to do something. And as soon as I get to that point, I'm gonna call you
Or
because I don't know how
sometimes
to do it.
I just need to call somebody to walk me through it, because my brain is. I'm like, Michelle, how do
You
I
need
do?
an extra
Oh,
brain.
Yeah.
You just need a brain to bounce it off of sometimes.
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
that bounce. So you gotta find your people. You gotta find your network. You gotta find those that are connected in this field that know what they're talking about. Because a lot of people that talking, but nothing's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Nothing value is
Yeah.
coming out.
Mentoring is a big thing. And don't think that if I'm not mistaken, do you all have a mentor? Because I have a few. Do you? I mean, I hope everyone does. Like, I have a mentor. I have someone I can go to. I don't just have a mentor for bookkeeping. I have a mentor for other stuff. Because stop acting like you know it all. And then you take more time trying to learn it on your own than it does if you go sit down with somebody and let them teach you.
Yep.
my mentor is my community of people. I feel like
Mhm.
that's my mentorship. Because I can ask you a question and you may give me the answer, and I still don't know what the hell you just said, Michelle, because I don't know what you said. I can call Nicole, probably call Chastity. By the time I call all three of y'all, I
You
have
get
told
your
you.
answer.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's me.
that was my research. That was my Google
Hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
my chat
Yes.
GPT all in one.
Yeah.
All in one.
Yeah.
We need.
I have several coaches. I actually is very weird. Well, I ain't gonna even say very weird, but the coaching program that I am in, I have access to different coaches. I have a mindset coach, I have a sales coach, I have a
Hmm.
marketing coach, I have a content creator coach. So I have several coaches that
Hmm.
I'm able to, if I have an issue, that I'm able to go to. I'm able to reach out to and say, hey, this, I know a lot, but I tell people I know a lot, but I don't know everything. I don't want to
Hmm.
know everything. I want to
Hmm.
be in the room with other people that know more than me.
Yes.
So I'll reach out to these coaches and I'm kind of like, I'm lost. And and they'll start to pick and they'll be like, Nicole, you weren't lost. You couldn't navigate yourself through your way through this. And I'm like, well, I felt like I was lost. But yeah, you have to have a community, a tribe. You have to have someone that you can reach out to, but you want to make sure that when you're reaching out to them, that you're reaching out to someone that you can trust, that is relatable, that
Hmm.
you feel like you're in a safe zone with and talking with and going to be able to get the best information. That's why you need to vet, vet, vet. Just
Hmm.
don't jump into mentorships. Don't jump into
With the
coaching programs
popularity, with the popular people.
or the
Yeah.
lifestyle because you're seeing the
The
lifestyle
lifestyle
of the
people.
people or what
Because if you
have you. Don't do that. Make sure you're doing your research. Make sure you're finding out. Make sure you're talking to other people. Hey, have you dealt with this person before? Hey, what
That's
do you think about this person and stuff like that? Make sure you're communicating and stuff to ensure that you are vetting the people that you are allowing in your circle to mentor you or to coach you, because ultimately it's your business and you want to ensure
right.
that who's pouring into you is pouring creativity, good things, positives into you. You don't want anyone that's going to pour negativity into you. So
yeah.
make
So
sure that you're vetting.
that leads to the next question.
Go ahead.
So And I want everybody to share their own story, okay? So I want you to share a real client story where hiring the wrong person or the wrong professional for the job has caused that person a major problem.
Cool. Well,
All
I
right,
guess
Michelle, we'll start with you.
all right. So of course we don't use
So
names,
we're gonna give it
but
about maybe 2 minutes. Okay.
mhm.
All right,
So
go ahead.
I got a client that one year. I mean, he came to me and it was he needed 3 years worth of bookkeeping and he needed taxes. The IRS was knocking. They were already about to put a lien on his property. He made three is like 300,000 one year, 600 another year, about 800 another year. He had a CPA managing it. He's paid no estimated taxes whatsoever. The bookkeeping was mixed with so much personal and business. And he owed already over 160,000 and I hadn't even started. They did his taxes and got him a refund of 12. The IRS hit him back and he owed about 70. And I had to get the books in order. And what I started out charging him is not what I ended up charging him because when I went through everything, it was mostly personal. He had no idea even how much money he made. Now the truth is, unfortunately, I don't have that client no more because they couldn't afford to keep going. They were literally about to go out of business, and that's when you got to figure out, how much can you reduce your price to help someone. Now when if I can only tell you how much I reduced it down after I fixed it, it was a lot. They still had to get tax planning and tax resolution. Excuse me, I did tax planning, but they had tax resolution that they had to get done. Even something as small as they would even had a bunch of medical expenses that if someone just told them to get a HSA plan, they could have wrote all that stuff out. Because once you get to the Schedule A, if it ain't over 7.5% of your income, you can't even claim it. So the thing is, this person made good money, and I literally felt so bad. Like I did it three extra months without getting full payment, and then I had to stop. But I
Oh,
really
wow.
felt bad.
Mm.
I felt bad, but
That was
so
ministry.
you gotta just call it quits. I hate to say it like that, but you do.
Okay. Next.
There's no way in the world that I'm the only one that got a bad client.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah,
I'm
the only one, Michelle.
No, you're not the only one got a bad
What was
client.
the question again? Was it a bad client or was it someone that
No,
you
not
God, no,
fired?
the client. Let me say it's correct. The client wasn't bad. The client was actually very nice,
hiring
very
the wrong
nice. The
person.
situation was bad because and I wanted to press charges on the CPA. I wanted to whistleblow because it was ridiculous. They took a lot of money from him.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay. So
yeah,
the
I'm
so
I'm
the
still
question. Okay, go ahead, Chastity.
I'm just you can repeat the question. I was just gonna answer.
Okay, so share a real client story where hiring the wrong type of professional caused problems.
Oh, wrong type of professional. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm still dealing with one. I've been working with a client for the past couple of years now, where they had hired a CPA to help them with their escort, in regards to conversion and then doing the returns. And like I said, it's been really complex. I'm still working on it. It became where they was my bookkeeping client, where I needed to clean up what the other person had did wrong. But then now it's turned into a resolution because the y'all know when we do back taxes, we like to have them done quick. But sometimes it takes a year or two to
Hmm.
fully do somebody's back taxes, to be honest. And so now, like all those years where some returns had to be amended, I had to collaborate with a CPA to get some stuff done. Like it's just been ongoing, and so now it's becoming tax resolution because now the periods of become when you file the tax returns and then those balances, and now like the IRS has sent out intent to levy notices and lien notices.
Hmm.
I'm dealing with the resolution side while I'm still trying to finish up bookkeeping for now the current
Hmm.
year, and then finally do the tax return. So we're almost done. Thankfully, in June we'll likely be done. But now once I finish the bookkeeping side, once I finish the tax returns, is we straight into resolution because we only got like a 30-day. I got a 30-day hold on the account so they can prevent the levies. But yeah.
Crazy.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll share my story. I had a client. So this particular client, they actually hired a company, to actually prepare their books. However, they used like the same company for 3 years. They had like one year it was $10 million in receivables that was not recorded. Another year it was like 8 million. Another year it was about 6 million. So receivables were not recorded. They had payables that were recorded as expenses, and so it took a few months to actually straighten out. All their financials. I'm like, they were not able to get any loans or anything from banks because the income was not recorded properly. So it took months for me to actually go back through, like, sort out everything, that was actually done improperly. So with them, they just hired the wrong company and they stayed too long. So I was able to get them straightened out. But after that, I had to, let them go as a client because it caused me too much headache. So because I actually went back to that company again and got back in the same situation again. So I just had to walk away.
Okay.
I guess I'll share my horror story next.
Yes.
I walked into an organization where they had been without leadership, and the team members that were there kind of were robotic in nature. And so they did what they were told or taught from an individual. And the type of thing where we were talking earlier about if you don't understand or know what you're reading, it can cause more damage than good. So basically, there was a cycle that they had learned to run month after month. And because they weren't trained to identify issues or challenges or what to look for, long story short, they had about 4 million in unrecovered funds where they had spent the money. I work with nonprofits, so they work on a cost reimbursement process. And so it's like you spent the money, but you weren't collecting the money in a timely basis. And so of course they lost some of those grant funds. So it ended up being, we were able to recover some of the money. I think maybe half of it was like 2.5 or something like that, of the 4 and some change million that they were out. The other side of it ended up being more than just because I really, yes, I do taxes, but I really love getting in the grits and help people recover and re-engineer processes and all those types of things, and really look at their numbers and make sense of what they don't know. So it ended up being a situation where we started because y'all were having some money issues, and you thought, you thought there was, I don't know what they thought. I don't know if they thought somebody was stealing or what, but everybody was doing what they were supposed to be. They were doing it to the extent of their knowledge. I'll put it like that. So we were able to recover half the money. We went through a exhaustive re-engineering process with them. I'm working with doing similar thing with another nonprofit in the same space where, again, hired the wrong person. This one did steal money. So it's like, to get in there, recover the funds, train the staff, put some SOPs in place, make sure everybody on the front end and the back end of these processes understand, get buy-in, document this stuff, because that's where a lot of companies and businesses go wrong. They're doing this off of memory, don't have institutional knowledge or whatever the case is. So being able to pull that together, and I walked myself into in the situation I'm in now, I walked myself into a very comfortable place with a monthly client with CFO.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
That
That's it.
sounds like it. Not for profit is not for everybody. And that's one thing I would tell people. You better find a niche and stick to it. And for these people that are in tax pros, if you are getting into bookkeeping, stay away from non for profit because it's not your regular accounting. Stay away from cost accounting. And to be quite honest, if you're just coming in, you really should stay away from e-commerce unless you're ready to get into inventory and sales tax. Come in doing service related. It's the easiest thing ever.
Really
And you
is.
have peace. But don't come in with the e-commerce
You can
and
keep
that one.
costs. I don't want that ever in life, ever.
Listen, I got
I don't
one,
like
and I'm
that for
like,
me
oh my god, I
at
have
all.
one. I have one, and I mean, woo, yeah.
Okay.
Nicole, what's your horror story?
My horror story. So, I mean, I can look at this from both sides of it because I've been an auditor. that's how I got into nonprofit organizations and working with a nonprofit organization as being an auditor, doing A133 OMB audits for the government. Honestly, in my experience, I would say this. I'm not going to just pull out one client or, one particular incident. What I would say is that sometime when we go, the business owner may go with someone that they feel is in their budget, or they feel is going to be able to, they're going to be able to pay. So they will go with that individual, not truly vetting that individual. So that individual may be someone that truly don't understand accounting or bookkeeping, or don't understand how to truly look at the financial statements and read the financial statements. In their mind is okay, I have a client that I can make some quick money off of. I could say I did this and I could say I did that, but not truly do that. So in my experience, that's what I have seen, coming from just owning my own business. That's what I have seen, just hiring the wrong people because they feel like those people fit into their budget. One thing I would say about CPAs is that people have to truly understand what a CPA does. A CPA assure numbers. The only way they can assure numbers is through an audit or through a review or a compilation. But they assure those numbers. You have some CPAs that don't even deal with taxes at all.
No
They don't
bookkeeping.
deal with taxes at all. You have some CPAs that don't deal with compilations. And when you talk about compilation, that is that's the next form of bookkeeping and accounting services. But you have CPAs that don't even deal with that. So a lot of times when they start to dip their toe into the water to start to try to pick up that piece that they may not have, it becomes a little convoluted for them. So I'm just going to say that sometimes the experience that we do have is us hiring the people that are spending to our budget, because we feel like if I can pay this person $200 or $300 to get the job done, then I'm going to go with that person, not truly understanding that that $200 or $300 is going to produce some work that someone else may have to relook over or may have to clear up.
And then they don't even understand half of the time that the cost there is not too many clients that I get that they don't save more money than what they have to pay me for the year. Because when you look at everything, it's like it's either over income, over budgeted, over expensed, poorly structured. It's so many different things that they miss out on. And then the other thing we all know is with the estimated taxes that they don't pay, and then they wonder why, and the fees keep coming on top of fees, on top of interest, and then penalty, because they don't know that after the first year that they've had this, now quarterly, if they're not paying estimated taxes, more stuff is being tacked on top of that also. So if you get the right person, we can stop all that from happening. So you worrying about spending $500 and $600, and let me explain to you, that's a low level for bookkeeping. But people are worried about spending $600 a month, but I can damn near save you damn near 10,000 of that. So why? You gotta put your money in. You gotta put your money in, or else you're gonna be just like some people. And this is why most new businesses and don't make it past 3 years, because they don't put the money in for finances. They don't do the insurance. They do their own businesses. They set them up incorrectly, and they don't have someone to help them with guidance. So, I'll be here all day.
Passion will always take over when you doing stuff like this. So I have one last question, because it seems to me that I don't do as much bookkeeping as you guys do. I'm more definitely on the tax side. I tell my clients I'm not your bookkeeper, okay? Because I'm not. And
Straight to the point.
I'm not your bookkeeper, but do I know what good books look like? Yes, I have an eye. I can see. I know. I've took bookkeeping classes. I went to school, did all that, but that's not my ministry, as we would say. So,
Yeah.
my question to you guys is, do all of you guys do your bookkeeping clients' taxes? Or do you have clients that you don't do their taxes?
I do all my clients' taxes.
I do too.
Okay.
I want to say all of my. I'm checking my brain, but yeah, we do taxes for our clients.
Okay. Okay. So you
I,
guys, do you, Chastity, do all of your?
so I have clients where somebody else is their bookkeeper, but I'm their
Mhm.
tax professional.
So
Or
how do you work that? Do you work with their bookkeeper? How do you ensure that you're getting what you need to do the client's taxes? It's
Hmm.
yeah, so sometimes I'll just get the access to their, if there's QuickBooks, they'll give me access to whatever accounting software they use, or their bookkeeper will send me over their all of the financial statements. But for the most part, I'll just get access. But I don't know what where you going with that question. But I will say I've had to, like for example, I took on a new client who has a bookkeeper, but I'm their tax professional for their partnership, and there was some things on their profit and loss statement that shouldn't have been there.
Hmm.
And so I kind of explained that to them to have their bookkeeper go back and change it. And then they were like, "Well, what would you suggest?" I said, "Well, this should go on the balance sheet, but I'm not gonna change it because that's what you pay them for. So you can have them change it. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the that it's a distribution for you all, but I'm not going to touch the books that somebody else did."
Hmm. Yep.
And I
awesome.
I
think
do
like to
have.
add on to what Nicole just not Nicole, I'm sorry, Chastity just said. I do have one client where I don't do like their monthly bookkeeping. However, I do have access to their QuickBooks. So I do like the month end closing, and I do the taxes for them. But I do have access to their software, so I can go in and make sure that everything is accurate.
Okay.
And
What
I
about
stand
you?
corrected. I've got some nonprofit clients where I don't do their 990. Somebody else does their 990 because they're audited. So I maintain the books and I provide CFO services, but an outside CPA firm actually does
Mhm.
their 990.
Okay.
Hmm.
And you, Nicole?
I have. Ooh, I'm trying to think. I do have two real estate clients that I do not do their books for, but I do their tax return. And of course, just like the other lady said, I have access to their software to be able to go in to ensure, again, because I come from an auditing background, even though I'm not a CPA and I'm not an auditor at this point,
Mhm.
I'm gonna always be an auditor. Let me just um because I come from that background, again, I just cannot go off the numbers of what you're presenting to me, especially if I'm not doing the bookkeeping. I just can't go off the numbers that you're presenting to me for the profit and loss statement or the balance sheet. So yes, I need to have access. So yes, I need to see the transactions.
Hmm.
And that's just the audited nature in me. So for those two clients, I have access. So on a monthly basis, I just go in and look to see what is going on.
I do.
I in January I took on a division of Remax, which is the real estate company or what have you with the realtor. So I
Mhm.
took on Remax Gold. Remax Gold is black owned. They have it's a black franchisee, black owned. All of them are black owned, but they initially designated me as their Pacific accountant to do everything they need me to do. However, some of them do come with the books, and I'm like, I need to see. I got to see beyond what you're bringing me because again, my name is going on this tax return, and I have to make sure that these numbers are correct. So,
Yeah, that's
Awesome.
real estate is crazy.
So,
oh, very.
any final words from you, ladies, to tell the audience, in regards to bookkeeping, in regards to taxes, just in regards to their business, just some final encouraging words.
Yeah,
Because this
I
is
just want
very
to
encouraging.
say yes. So like how we talked about mentors earlier. So like in the event, so maybe like sometimes you maybe can't really afford, to get a mentor. You can still join different organizations. Like I'm a member of NABA, National Association for Black Accountants, and I get like a lot from NABA. Our Chamber of Commerce is really interactive. I'm here, so I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce here and two other chambers. So like there are like different ways to still get the information. So don't just like kind of keep yourself in a box. I make sure that you actually like venture out and just like kind of diversify. Just who you're around and the information that you're getting. Always vet the information, but kind of make sure that you spread yourself out as well.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree with joining the association. So I talk about BNI because I'm newly in BNI, and I originally joined
You
to
gotta
get
tell them
an
what
outlet.
BNI is, Nicole.
Yes.
Michelle. What is BNI?
Oh, that's Business Networking International. So it's a networking, even though it's networking, you're also learning a lot. And through working with other professionals, now you can only have like one accounting, one tax professional, someone in insurance. Just think of every kind of entrepreneur position. Depending on what chapter you go into, they have a little bit of all. My chapter, they go through education, and the education can go from anywhere from finances to marketing to even the different types of networking. We give referrals to each other. It's kind of like a give us gain thing. Like you don't always expect something in return, but if you do something for someone, it comes to you anyway type situation, and you learn so much. I tell you, I do say I know a lot. I think I know a lot. I never say I know it all. And when I tell you I learn something every single week there, I hire more of them to help me with my business than I give out, because this is what you do. When you go in, you the whole thing about your business is to keep learning, not just accounting. You got to keep broadening your horizon so you can run your business right. You just knowing how to do hair and nothing else, that's not going to make your business grow. You have to learn and be more well-rounded.
Awesome. Thank you.
I would say to the individual who is on the fence about learning bookkeeping or not, my thing is, especially if you're already in this financial space, um, take the time to get to know it. It is not only advantageous for the people that you serve, but ultimately it's going to benefit you too as a business owner. I find a lot of times, especially in the tax space more so than the accounting and bookkeeping space, that we make this money and we have these successful businesses, but because we don't always, we're not watching numbers, dotting I's, crossing T's, that a lot of times we're not in position. And I say it like this: we might be rich, but we're not wealthy. So we're not able to take our money and transition it into ways that create sustainability for us in the long term. So for
Yes.
anybody that might be a little bit of nervous, at least take a class or two, get the
Yes.
refinancials so you can, make yourself versed and present yourself as a better financial professional. To the business owner that might be watching, get them numbers together. We in a space and age where, the IRS is not playing with us. Most people wait until they got letters coming or the IRS knocking or the postman knocking with certified letters for you before we decide to want to do something. And I feel like we're just in a space right now where if you're going to be a business owner, put up or shut up and be a business owner and holistically, or, keep hustling and see what happens. Hope not to see you on the news.
All right.
I'm gonna pick up off the feature, and the reason why I'm gonna pick up off there because she made a good point when she said business owners know your numbers. You should be at a drop of a dime. If someone asks you right now, right here, what's your numbers, you should not have to think about it. You should be able to drop your numbers right now because you're watching, you're keeping up, you're ensuring that everything is being recorded, everything is being categorized the way that they should be. You should always know your numbers. Every business, including us that's sitting here on this panel, we should all know our numbers right now. It is May 28th. We should know our numbers. Even if we don't know our numbers as of May 28th, we should know our number as of May 26th. 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Okay?
enough. I need more.
We
We
were
need to
just talking
know
about it.
our numbers, because our numbers reflect what we need to work on in our business.
Yes.
It helps us to fuel those goals. If we have a goal of making $350,000 by the end of the year and we don't know where our numbers are right now, good luck to you on making it $350,000 a year.
Tell them that budget too, because we on budget.
So
You
you
gotta make a
should
plan.
know your numbers. You should know your numbers. Business owners, know your numbers. One thing I would lead with tax professionals is take your basic, get your basic bookkeeping, just basic to understand the equation: assets equal liability plus equity.
Say it again for the people in the back.
Assets equal liability plus equity. We talk bookkeeping, but all of bookkeeping is founded on the principles of accounting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so get you a basic understanding, of why, when you look at that profit and loss statement, why is the income showing credit and the expenses are showing as a debit.
Mm-hmm.
Just get a little bit, and I'll tell y'all this story, and I'm a clock out, like y'all said. I'm a clock out work, y'all. I'm punching out at this point. I just had 2 young ladies last week that enrolled in and I don't even stress the fact that I do bookkeeping. It's several of us do bookkeeping. Michelle do bookkeeping. LaFisha do bookkeeping. And we're offering courses. I don't know if I haven't seen anything from Chastity, if she's offering any type of courses, nor Alicia. But I do know that Michelle and LaFisha are offering bookkeeping. I don't stress it a lot, but I do offer bookkeeping one-on-one. I had 2 young ladies that sat in my course last week because they was like, this is high demand for me. I need to understand. I'm taking on these multi-million-dollar clients. I really need to understand it. They got stumped with a QuickBooks client, a client that was in QuickBooks. We had to go into QuickBooks and I had to break it down like, hey, this is a cleanup. This is what you got to do. But when I got them into the bookkeeping course, when we started to tackle the bookkeeping course, and I started to just break down the basics, it started to click to them. Oh, I've been doing this, but I didn't know what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I've been recording this, but I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know one transaction affect 2 accounts in my business.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think of that. I didn't know that. And so I had to put it into a simplicity, like walking into the grocery store. We do this every single day. We go into the grocery store, we buy something. 2 things happen.
Come on, debit.
With 2 things. You're going to run that debit card, which is going to deplete your cash, right? And then you just added food to your household, which just increase your food supply, right or wrong. 2 things happen on one business transaction.
That's right.
They wasn't thinking like that. They wasn't thinking to the fact of, oh my God, you mean to tell me I walk into the grocery store and I buy these 2 things just occurred? Yes, 2 things just occurred.
Mm.
That's
I've been doing this, Nicole, but I wasn't thinking along the lines of the simplicity.
You hit home there.
But when I said it that way, it clicked to them.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So when I go into Office Depot and buy paper for my office, I got all the supplies and I just spent some cash. 2 things just happened. My office supplies went up, my cash went down.
Debit and credit it works all the time.
I always tell them, if you can remember that what you just spent the money on most occasions is a debit, you got to know the other side. So always think expenses is a debit. So that means whatever you use, if it was cash, it's a credit. And they be like, huh? I'm like, listen, remember the debit.
The thing
remember
is,
the debit.
The mindset, here's the thing, the mindset of, because a lot of us, we went and opened up bank accounts before we even started taking a basic bookkeeping class.
Mm-hmm.
So when we go and open up our bank account, we get that bank statement. It's the total opposite.
Exactly.
It's the flip side.
Look at their bank statements no more.
That's hard to unpickle that pickle though.
But even if they don't look at the bank statement, they go in, they look at their online transaction, and it said withdraw or debit.
debit card.
Right. But then when we try to
Gone.
flip
You
it,
gotta explain
say
it to
in
them.
the book side of the things, this is what it means. It hard. It's very. I'm being honest with you guys. It's very hard for them to see that because they are in their mind. They're picturing that bank statement.
Yeah, because it's the total opposite.
That's
I
because people don't reconcile their checkbooks like they used to at all.
Even with reconciling, it doesn't matter. Even when they're reconciling, they're still thinking
They're
along
thinking their
lines
own.
of
yeah,
the way that the
and
bank
it's
have
not.
it set up because they have this bank account set up long before they even did a bookkeeping one-on-one course.
Yeah,
And they
I had
said,
2 full-time accountants with that problem, and I had to move them to other units because they left banking and then came to accounting, and we
Yeah.
just couldn't
"Oh no,
unwire that. Like I
so they,
literally had to send them to other. I was working at a university. I literally had to get them transferred to the student account side because it acted like a bank.
mm-hmm.
So that's a really hard thing to get people
It,
to
it, it,
unlearn.
it
That's
really
weird.
is.
I
Unlearning.
started in the banks. I
It really
started
is.
working in the banks, and actually, I don't even know how I got into accounting at all.
That's gonna be our next session. How the hell did you get here? Now I'm just kidding.
Boom, boom,
Okay.
boom, boom.
But yeah,
Let's get
that
back.
That
would
would really
be
be a good one because some folks don't even know.
yeah.
I know I went to school for nursing.
Yeah. But that's one of the things that I would definitely with my tax professionals. Just take a basic, just have a basic understanding, just a basic understanding of these numbers,
Take a
basic
financial reporting
understanding.
class. Like, take a
Um,
class. I know I got one in one of these weeks, and it'll post up. But take a class on how to read financials.
mhm.
You
Yeah.
really and if you can start there at least you can help your clients a little bit more when you're doing their taxes. Something to just go a little, just a little more,
Yeah.
get a little more involved.
Sharon,
So,
before we jump off, let's make sure that we have answered all the questions because there's been quite a bit of questions in the chat. And
no,
I
I
want to
got
If
make
I
one.
can't,
sure
I
because I
Did we
don't
hear
can't
want
from
them to
Chastity
feel like
yet?
we're not answering their questions before we end.
I can't see all of them. I have to keep going to Michelle's page to see them. So
I
So,
got
Okay.
them.
real quick, did
So
we hear from
one young
Chastity and her
lady asked,
advice?
Oh, I'm sorry, Chastity, but I still want to make sure that we get to because I don't want them to think like, oh, they
she
got
was
on there, they
oh,
gave us
answering.
I
this
did.
information, didn't answer my
Some of them are
question.
comments, and I've been answering some of them.
Okay.
And Christina's asked a few questions. So yeah,
Yeah,
Okay,
some
cool.
a lot of them is comments.
Yeah,
no, no,
So
no.
I'll be brief with
Somebody
mine.
asked one
Oh,
about
what?
why
Hold on,
is
Michelle.
go, go
Michelle,
ahead,
hold on. Chastity
go
didn't
ahead.
talk
You got
yet.
Chelsea.
Yeah, sorry. I was just going to be brief with my closing remarks in regards to what would I leave business owners and tax professionals with, because most of it has already been said. But what I will say is that accounting is the language of business. And I will say accounting is the love language of business. So as a business owner, regardless to what industry you're in, so if you're not a tax professional, you're watching this, regardless to whatever business that you have, don't feel like, oh, because well, I'm not a tax professional or I'm not a bookkeeper, so I don't need to know about what we talked about, our numbers, right? And you are doing your business a disservice. As a business owner, you're responsible to know accounting because that's the language of business. So how are you going to know to operate your business without
Right.
knowing the fundamentals? So even you as a business owner, a business owner who's not in accounting or the tax professional industry, you should know these basic things, because how you know that the person you hired is doing their job right? Because at some point, sometimes you might have to take over your own stuff. Maybe your finances might get low. You can't afford to hire somebody, and what you need to know what you're taking over, right? And how you're going to know what you're taking over if you don't know the basics. So I
Yeah.
think all business owners should take a basic bookkeeping class or accounting class, and then also for the tax professionals, I want to stress this because a lot of times people just think, oh, I just need to worry about the taxes, and you don't. With those Schedule C's, if you just even read the publications, just take the time to read the IRS publication for Schedule C. And that will help you, if you don't want to take a class, that will at least help you know what should at least go into those categories. So what am I looking for when I see advertising? What am I looking for when I look at legal and professional fees? Is this what shows up if I do look at their general ledger? Is this the things that's showing up in that category? If I see something that's off, then that's going to trigger me. Okay, the publication says in the legal professional photography, it should be accounting, things like that. But I'm seeing things like Canva and stuff like that. So should that be there? Right. So, everybody, I feel like regardless to what industry you're in, you definitely need to know the basics of accounting.
Mhm.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you, ladies. That was good. So, I want to thank you all for tuning in to our live. We appreciate your support, your comments, your presence mean the world to us. Whether you watch from the start to the finish or you just popped in, we all appreciate you. Stay
Mhm.
connected with us. A lot of us had posted our names on the chat. I see Nicole in here, Chastity. We've been answering you guys. Reach out to us. And we also have a group called ProfitHERs, which you guys can also inbox Michelle to get into that group. And you can also still get to connect with each and every one of us. So the takeaway tonight is business owners, tax professionals, bookkeeping provides an extremely valuable service. It allows you to know what's going on with your finances. Take a course. Know the basics. Nobody is asking you to go out there and become a full charge bookkeeper, CPA,
Right.
accountant, CFO services. Just like I tell my tax professionals when they first get started, get familiar. You don't have to understand, but get familiar with terminology so that when people do come to you and they're actually telling you what's going on with your books, it makes sense. Cash, accrual, bookkeeping, accountant, makes sense. So we just want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. It has been a pleasure. On behalf of ProfitHERs, we just want to say, keep your profits in your pockets. Woo woo!
Yes, and the next meeting, the next
The
meeting is
next
going to
meeting
be.
is, and we'll let Michelle take that away for y'all.
Oh, I thought you was gonna say I don't even got my paper, but it's tax preparers versus tax professionals versus EAs, and it's another topic. So you
It's
already
a
know what
fight.
we're going into.
It's a fight.
All
That's all
right,
you need
you
to
know
know.
what we
Come
going
prepared.
into. All right. So what's the difference?
Come prepared, guys. It's going to be a fight. It is going down. Y'all have a good night.
Thanks, ladies.